Hi everyone, I'm Kara with Living Rhythm and Joy. Um, Back today. I missed my typical Facebook Live that I do on Thursdays yesterday because I just was not feeling it. So exhausted and just, have you ever had one of those days where you just didn't want to be seen? That's kind of how I was feeling. I just didn't I just wanted to be curled up by myself yesterday. So um, today I'm doing this a little bit late because I was still super exhausted and took a little nappy this afternoon. So I'm just sort of getting back moving in my day now. So anyway, thanks for being patient with me. Today I just wanted to talk about this coming week. We've got just a few days before Christmas. My guess is some of you will be celebrating this weekend with family, some maybe next weekend, and some, in the middle of the week, Tuesday and Wednesday, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And maybe some of you are doing even all three, depending on your family situation. And so I just wanted to say, as you're heading into this week, just manage your expectations. You know, your family, your family unit, you and your kids and your spouse, or who's ever in your little family unit, and your extended family. Um, and so be realistic about what you can expect, what kind of um, situations might arise with extended family, how your kids might react with, the less sleep, more sugar, uh, you know, stressful schedules, and, nothing kind of being the same. I know for a lot of us with kids who struggle with mental illness or other challenges, maybe autism or um, anything like that, that the change of schedule can be really hard on them. And sometimes I think we forget about that piece of it, right? Like, I remember, when my kids were little, I had two that were really, it was super important that they knew what the schedule was going to be, and that they knew, or that their schedule, that they got the sleep that they needed, that they got the alone time they needed. A couple of my kids really need a significant amount of time just by themselves to sort of regroup. Um, and so when we go into the holiday season, sometimes we're not thinking about that because we're just thinking about the schedule. We've got to be here at this time, so that means we've got to get up, so we've got time to do this, and we've got to be able to do this and that, and we're really worked up about the schedule. But I think not only do we forget about that, but I think they do too. They get caught up in the excitement, right? They get caught up in the excitement, and they want to stay up late, and they want to have all of the extra treats, and they want to play with their cousins or whoever is there that they don't always get to see. And they maybe don't know, or they forget that when those things get switched up for them, that they end up feeling worse, and they maybe have a meltdown, um, you know, um, ends with a tantrum, or, tears, feeling bad, and so a lot of times too, there's just so much, I've talked about this before, right? We kind of want that Hallmark moment. We want that perfect holiday. We want that magical um, Christmas morning with the smiling kids and the happy families, and the everything perfect the way that that I think we think about our holidays, whatever our traditions are and that kind of thing. And man, over the years, I've thought about this quite a bit, I guess, because my kids, there's quite an age difference between my kids. So between my oldest and my youngest, there's 7.5 years. And so it was sometimes hard to make sure that our traditions were meeting everybody's needs, that, there was something for the little ones and something for the older ones. Um, One of the things that we've done traditionally is that on Christmas Eve, um, in the evening, we sit around and we sing Christmas carols as a family together. And then my husband reads "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," and I read another book called A Cup of Christmas Tea. That's a tradition for our family too, and all of this happens before the kids go to bed, and they have to get to bed so that Santa can come and all of that. And man, I just, they would get so wound up, and the fighting would begin, and just getting through those traditions, because they're so nice and meaningful, just was stressful and frustrating, and kids would be fighting, and somebody would be crying, and and you think, oh my gosh, I'm never doing this again. But then do you know what happens? Then the next year, all they remembered was how wonderful it was, and that these are the traditions, and they're so important, and we have to do it again. And so I'm just saying, I guess, manage your expectations. Right? So go into your week and your traditions and your schedule, and you know that you might well end up with somebody in tears or with a tantrum. And just I think sometimes if we know that we can expect that because things are not usual, that makes it a little bit easier. And if we can understand that the change in schedule and change in eating and sleep and all of that affects them and us, uh, that it's easier for us to understand, and maybe easier for us as parents to help our kids through those times. And also to manage your expectations with your extended family. Um, you know, you maybe know that they don't understand your kid. Whatever your child struggles with, maybe it's hard for other people to be around. Um, and maybe they say things that they mean in a very loving, helpful way that are not helpful and don't feel loving to you. To just sort of remember that they're coming at it from, a good place, even if it doesn't feel nice to you. So manage those expectations too, and maybe just um, think ahead of time about some situations that might come up, some things that you anticipate grandma or grandpa or an aunt or uncle might say to you or to your children, that could be triggering or provoking. And if you think, well, okay, somebody might say this or that, and have a response ready that you can just say, if you plan ahead of time, you can manage your expectations. You can know, okay, they're saying this, and I know that I don't need to react, because you've already expected the feelings associated with that, so that you can handle it in a way that diffuses the situation in that moment. If you need to have a talk with them at some point about things that they say, then you certainly can, but maybe on the day that you're celebrating isn't the best day to get into things, to sort of keep the peace. Or maybe it is, and you can use your own judgment. Anyway, those are some thoughts. Not very articulate today, so I apologize about that. I hope that you all have a wonderful, wonderful week. And as you're going through, hang on to those moments that are happy and filled with joy and that go smoothly. And those times that don't, that where it was the fighting and the tantrum and the overtired and the overstimulated, you know what? Let that part go. Hang on to the good ones. Let go of the bad ones, and just do the best that you can, day by day, and hour by hour, and maybe even minute by minute. And um, don't feel as though if you have a bad morning or a bad evening, um, that the whole day itself is ruined or was a bust, right? Take it in pieces and enjoy every piece of every day that you can. Oh, Merry Christmas. Um, enjoy your week. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your kids. And just love them up. And I will talk to you all again soon. Bye. Oh, that sucked.